key essence of a problem-solving mindset to me is to adopt, cultivate, hold on to, trust that for every problem, a solution already exists.
Yeah.
So the mindset is that if I have a problem, or if a problem or an obstacle arises, that one of the best ways to deal with it is to know that the solution exists. If you
Yeah.
can't see it, it's okay. But it's not about, oh gosh, I have to get here into problem solving, have to figure it out, have to, right, be logical. It's like surrender, flow with it. There's a flow with a problem solving mindset. Is that, if I can't see it, I'm gonna take one step. What can I do?
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hello, hello, hello. This
Hello.
is a deliciously motivated mindset conversation with Debz, that will be me, and Moira.
That would be me.
That's her. Welcome, listeners. It's pretty inspiring to have you here because today we haven't actually said it's a goodie. I don't think we've said
No,
it's
we haven't for a while. I don't think so.
well, we'll
It is a
take that.
goodie. This one is a goodie, though.
Today, as soon as we said that, my hair stuck up and went, yeah, it
Actually,
is.
they're all goosebumps.
Yeah, today's topic is cultivate a problem-solving mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds a goodie. Sounds a goodie. So our only task is to deliver a goodie, which I know we're going to do anyway.
But of course. But
Yeah,
of
but
course.
so if you've been here before, thank you for coming back. And if you've brought a friend or shared
Welcome.
this recently, welcome. Thanks for however you found us. Thank you for coming, and don't forget to thank the person who sent you on to us. One of the things we always do at the start is our PEMS, PEMS. And if you're wondering what the heck that is, that's our physical for the P, emotional for the E, mindset, mental for the M. I have to spell it out then, and spiritual for the S. That's the PEMS, PEMS. And one of the things we do is we check in of where we are physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and we rate ourselves a number 0 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And 10, the number between 9 and 11, is the discombobulated state.
Yep.
Can't see anything, frazzled, just that's it, actually discombobulated.
Crazy
And
making, stuck, discombobulated.
Yeah,
Yes.
literally frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe immobilized, frozen, but your mind is not frozen.
Yeah,
That's
true
it.
that.
And then there's a 0. Oh, and even just saying the 0, I could feel my body go, yes, please, I'll have that, sir. Yeah. 0 is for Zen, where you're feeling neutral, no worry about what's been said or done previously, not worried about what's coming into you, what you have to do next. You've just got this time to listen to us and sit in the present. That's 0. So our intention is to bring you to that 0. But what we do is we rate ourselves at the start, we rate ourselves at halftime, and we rate ourselves at the end just to see where you are. And your PEMS is a toolkit that just allows you, it's like a litmus pool
Well, it's
test.
just, it's self-awareness. It's a self-awareness
A
assessment.
self-awareness tool. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So the key is to get you into the rhythm of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
rating your PEMs, because then you go, well, no wonder I've had a cranky day because I haven't eaten since yesterday, and it's 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. now. Or like, it just allows you to go, oh, well, that explains it.
Mhm.
Not seeing it as a shortcut to get out of stuff you've done, but just an awareness. That's all it is. So in saying that, Moira, where are you in your PEMs check-in?
I'm at a 1.
Oh, okay. Well, that was quick. I'm still trying to
Just-
figure out what you're
Just
one.
like
I'm
that.
gonna. Yeah, she's a 1. I'm a 2. That's it. She hasn't got far to go. I've got a little bit to go. And do not compare yourselves to us. If you're an 8, that's okay. Let's see if
Mhm.
you can last the whole way through. Let's see if you can last the whole way through if you're beyond that. But let's crack on. Grab a pen and paper, pencil, paper, note-taking device, whatever you use, because we're going to give you some solid tips to cultivate a problem-solving mindset.
Mhm.
I'm going to hand it over to Moira to start.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple popping in here, and I'm like, hang on, read this properly. So Moira, what's the first tip you would get? These are in no particular order, people.
Of course, because they're going to come as as
As they come.
as they arrive. Well, so
Yeah.
it's the essence of a problem-solving mindset to me is to adopt, cultivate, hold on to, trust that for every problem, a solution already exists.
Yeah.
So the mindset is that if I have a problem, or if a problem or an obstacle arises, that one of the best ways to deal with it is to know that the solution exists. If you
Yeah.
can't see it, it's okay. But it's not about, oh gosh, I have to get here into problem solving, have to figure it out, have to, right, be logical. It's like surrender, flow with it. There's a flow with a problem solving mindset. Is that, if I can't see it, I'm gonna take one step. What can I do? If the
Yeah.
problem is I can't do this and I can't do this and I can't do this, I can't do this, for all of that, you might need to sit and list all that out. But then say, okay, so what can I do? Oh, well, actually, I can do this, right? I can let it off to the side, and I can focus on this thing that I can do. By us focusing on and taking steps on the things we can do, it's actually almost like magic, because then the problem is resolved, or
Yeah.
it gets taken off, or you suddenly go, oh, I know what to do now, right?
And that's awareness,
Yes.
really, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
when we're talking about it, and it's awareness and a knowing.
Yes. A
Yeah.
knowing and a trust, implicit trust, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is yeah, awareness, knowing, and a trust. And well, trust is a whole podcast on its own. That's like a tip on
Absolutely.
But my thing was my tips about watching that negative self-talk. I can't do this. Why do I always get these problems? Why me and not them? Why has karma got me that I have to deal with this problem? Because my sister doesn't get any of these problems. I've got this and no one else gets this. So just be aware of that negative self-talk. You can choose to change it or not, but even just being aware, which is, Moira just summed up in the first tip, being aware just opens your eyes. And then you can pick and choose what to do with it. But just watch that negative self-talk. Now, negative self-talk is not going to help you. Well, hang on. It is going to help you to a certain degree. It's going to wake you up and you're going to hear it and you're going to go, oh, okay, it's time to change that. That's an old story. That's an old pattern. So definitely those aspects. But if you're going to sit on that negative self-talk train, you're going to derail. Your PEMS is going to be beyond a 10.
100%.
That's a nice way. So just be aware and watch your negative self-talk, because that's your internal and external self-talk as well.
So I want to put this as a tip all by itself, but it's kind of like a sub tip to your
They all flow
negative
on those,
self-talk.
don't they?
Yeah. But the one is that every time I hear somebody saying why, I always encourage clients and students to use that as a red flag. If I'm saying why is this happening? Or why, like you said, why is this always happening to me? Why does it not happen this way? That's actually a red flag to say, wait, 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 wait. Because you know what? The answer to a why question when we're kind of asking ourselves something like that, is always going to be negative. It's always going to take you down a negative spiral. So if you could just, because I'm not going to be able to stop you doing it because we all do it, I do it. But if you could use it as a gift to say, okay, what is the gift here? What is the possibility? What is the potential? What can I do? That's what I was saying earlier when we were saying about the awareness, is that if I'm sitting there saying, oh, I can't do this and I can't do this, can't do this, okay, I might have to discharge all of that to then say, okay, now I can get cleared up to then say, yeah, what can I do? Right?
Yeah. And that's just reframing.
Mhm.
And it's not as hard as what we think. Life is not that hard. Like, life isn't that hard.
Mhm.
We choose to make it sometimes crazy
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
But I really love that first tip, is that every problem has a solution.
Yeah.
Every problem has a solution. The one I'm going to give is, and it's my word says tribe, community, people, and ensure you have the right people around you. Ensure you have the right people around you who can give the best of what they've got for you to help you with that problem solving.
Mhm.
I don't know. So some people have their own past stories that they bring in. But yeah, some friends had an agenda. You can call it an
Right.
agenda.
Yeah.
And so just make sure you've got the right people around who have resolved problems before to help you,
Mhm.
or who actually can see some insight. Because often when you're in that dark tunnel and you're trying to find the light at the end of the tunnel, and there is no light switch and you can't find anything, and it just feels like that tunnel's going on. You know the one, people. You know the one. I can't even find the blooming light switch. It's often easier that you can talk to somebody else who can just go, you know what, I've had that problem before and this is how I dealt with it.
Mhm.
So find the right tribe, community people, Moira or myself, who are there,
Definitely.
because we literally, our role, my job, my whatever you want to call it, I love when someone presents a problem. I literally rub my hands together and go, yeah, let's get into it, because there's a solution to every problem, which I know that with certainty, but
Mhm.
I don't have the emotional attachment to your stuff.
Right.
Like, my emotional attachment is just, let's find a solution that
Mhm.
works for that person,
Yep.
that makes them feel lit up, that doesn't deplete them.
Right.
That's where I am in that. So find the right community, the right people around you. And Moira and I are very neutral too. And I'm going to use the word very, which I don't really like. But we're very neutral to your stuff. Like, we
Mhm.
go, oh, here's a problem, here's a solution. And we have dealt with, I don't believe you're going to bring me a problem that I haven't dealt with. I've been in this business, in this actual limited business, for 18 years. Prior to that, I was a personal assistant, executive assistant, event planner. Like, all I literally did was, well, I was known as a Cooper Pooper Scooper. Yeah, that's me. Because I could scoop up your problems and resolve it. So
Right.
I'm known for that. And that gets me excited and Moira. But we take our emotion out of your stuff, because sometimes when you're sitting in that state, you can't see anything.
No, and that's the point, because I was never known as a pooper scooper, that's for sure.
Yeah. Deborah Cooper Pooper Scooper.
But I have always been known, no matter what role I was playing, um, it was out of the box problem solver, because I have a big picture viewpoint. I'm an intuitive. Read energy. I feel into things. And you know, it's the thing for me with the problem solving mindset is I don't get caught up in the like I said a moment ago in that tip about the why, is that I don't overthink things. I think that's a really important part, is to not get into overthinking, Because
Yeah.
when we overthink, we kind of get into this belief that, oh, I have to logic this out. I have to work it out. I have to figure it out. But maybe you don't. Maybe you need to surrender to you don't know right now. And then just in that surrender can actually sometimes be the gift that goes, oh, there's the idea, just land it.
Yeah.
Right. And it could be just that your heart was trying to bubble up something of like, I really would love to do this. But if you're too caught in the overthinking, you'll miss it. And that's
Yeah.
not allowing you to really embrace this idea of the problem solving mindset because, oh, I have to be all stuck in my left brain thinking to figure it out. Well, maybe you need to step back and use the right brain to surrender. And that's when the creativity can shift, right?
And I'm just going to add my favorite thing that Moira said to me once, and it stuck with me, was kiss.
Yes.
Keep it super simple.
Yep.
Or I think she actually said, keep it simple, stupid.
No, that was you said the stupid. I said sweetheart. I
Oh, was
remember
it?
that one. I said, keep it simple, sweetheart.
She wouldn't have said stupid. I was like, oh, yeah. But it is, keep it super simple. We had a WhatsApp group last night and they were talking about conflict. And then this conversation, and it just kept, and I just literally replied, kiss,
Mhm.
kiss, kiss. And they're like, okay, I'm getting it. And I'm like, kiss. Because it's like, but what if this happens? And then there's this, and then it just kept going on this crazy as tangent. That's like, it's okay. It's okay. Just keep it super simple.
Mhm.
Keep it simple, sweetheart. Just,
Yes.
and I love that, watching that overthinking, being that. I think I would like to say, to cultivate a problem-solving mindset, you don't have to resolve everyone else's problems.
Yes.
It's like, Moira, yes.
Yes.
And that's even if you're a mother or a father, if you're a parent or a grandparent, you don't have to solve everybody's problems. I'm going to say it again. You don't have to solve everyone's problems because we feel we have to. No, you don't. You actually can go, you know what? I'm going to let them sit in that so they can see if they can find an answer. I definitely have an answer, but let's just see if they can find one because, we were talking about this earlier, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Teach someone to fish rather than actually fish for them and
Fish
hand
for
it to them.
them.
Yeah,
Well,
that,
you know,
yeah.
that's actually a coaching question that I've used with clients before is that if somebody's coming and they're in their head and going, I don't know if I should do this and maybe I need to do that. And I have no idea what the best choice is or the best decision is. And so what I'll have them do is take a deep breath, hand on your heart, and I'll ask them, if you knew the answer right now, what would it be?
Yeah.
And I get them to
And
say the very first thing.
as well, because it literally brings you back to center.
Yes. So, but it's hand on your heart and take a deep breath. If you knew the answer, what would it be? And you take the very first thing that comes up. That's a problem solving aspect that you actually have access to within you. The key piece is the hand on heart because that's where the wisdom is. But it's to also do a little bit of a pattern interrupt or a pause on that crazy making thinking because you're not going to resolve anything if you just keep going down those rabbit hole trails, right?
Yeah.
Rabbit holes.
Yeah, the rabbit hole. And there are holes too. You just dodge one and then another one comes up.
Yeah.
And we know that if you avoid anything, it just gets bigger, it escalates. We all know that. If you don't know that, listen now. When you avoid it, it escalates, okay?
Yep.
That's it. But the hand on heart is just a beautiful one that brings you back to center, poise, yeah, center and poise. I mean, I got a message at the weekend from one of my lovely clients, and I just had to laugh. She says, how hard can I push through my chest with my hand if I'm trying to find myself center and balance? I was like, what's going on? She said, well, you did say push hard if you need to feel it hard. She said, but I'm pushing and I feel I'm going to put my whole hand through the back. And I'm like, you might need to go beyond the hand on heart right now, but let's just settle your mind down right now. But I had to laugh because it's like, I'm pushing. How far do I have to push on my hand on my heart? Because it's feeling like, I actually said to her, where are you? Can you stop? And she said, I'm standing in the supermarket. And I'm like, okay, don't sit down and have a rest right there. Reframe my normal response. I think cultivating a problem mindset is, and I'm going to go back to that trust that we had at the very, very start, is you know, when we talked about every problem has a solution, but trust that you know, trust
Mhm.
that no matter what you do, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And trust that. So, when I was a single mum, I treated my daughter differently, and I did actions differently to get me through at that time.
Mhm.
Nowadays, I would do things different. I mean, I'm in my 50s, and if I was a mum at this age, God help my child, just saying that right now. But if at my age now, I would do things differently. So just do the best with what you've got right now, but also trust that you can get through this. I
Right.
think trust is such a big one. Trust in life, trust that the PEMS are going to help you, trust that this podcast is going to help you, trust that the decisions you make, the actions you make, the actions you don't make are all in the best interest of what you've got ahead of you right now.
But the other part around that trust is that to trust that you live in a loving universe.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right? And so the thing is that yep, we all experience turmoil and discombobulation problems, obstacles, but
Yeah.
nothing shows up in your life path that you
Mhm.
cannot deal with. And there's a huge piece of trust, because when we really cultivate this problem-solving mindset, that we can be faced with a challenge and say, okay, this wouldn't be arising if I couldn't come through this.
Yeah.
And so overthinking or getting stuck in the, oh my God, why is this happening? That's not going to serve you.
Yeah.
But it's to come back into, okay, I've got this. And maybe that's all you can do in that moment. Hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and another
Mm.
deep breath, and another one. I've got this. I may not see or know my next step, but I've got this.
Even when you say I've got this, you're definitely changing your neuroplasticity in your brain. You're already
Mhm.
reprogramming your brain. You're already reprogramming your brain to tell you with certainty, I've got this.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel it, you've got it. But when you put your hand on your heart and you say, I've got it, you're telling the universe, I've got this. Thank you. I trust you. I trust me. I've got this. And it's just that confirmation to move forward.
Definitely. And so then you see the beauty of that is that then we step into our aspect of the co-creating
Yeah.
everything, co-creating the obstacle, the problem, co-creating the path through, the learning, the gift, the outcome.
Yeah.
We are all co-creators. I've said
Yeah.
before multiple times that we are all powerful, powerful creator beings. We are, but we don't do it alone. We engage with the spark of the divine that flows through every one of us, right?
Yeah, totally.
So maybe that's a tip on its own too, is to remember you're a co-creator and you can call upon the universe, source energy, your guides, your higher self, right? That actually
Yeah.
helps you do it, then circles right back into the, oh yeah, I've got this.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not alone in all of this. I think that's the other thing is you don't have to do anything alone.
Right.
Like there's people, there's tools, there's so much out there. You're not alone.
Yeah. And to even to reach out, speak to people, of course, being mindful of what kind of people that you reach out to,
Yeah.
right? Because sometimes when we are looking for a solution to something, and maybe we are not being as mindful as we ought to about who we're speaking to, because I don't know about you, but I've experienced this. If I'm going through something and I tell somebody who's maybe not had the same kind of experience, or maybe they want to upsell me into something, or they want to just tell me their suffering story. Oh, that's all right. I've been through that. It's really easy. All you have to do is this, 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 this. That's not going to help me.
I laugh because I hear it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think one of the ones I'm gonna, and I don't think I've actually talked about this for a while, is to cultivate a problem-solving mindset. I'm gonna say free up you. And when I say you, I'm talking about brain dumping,
Mhm.
freeing up your mind, because when you can free up your mind, you're pretty much pulling all the weeds out so that you can see the flowers. Like
Mhm.
that's so brain dump all your problems. If you've got a problem, and it's and you're at a 10 out of that discombobulated, it's like the Christmas tree lights,
Mhm.
until you actually go, let's have a look how bad they are. Are they working first? Like, so, but you've got to unpack that before you can actually find solutions. You've got to unpack it. You've definitely,
Right.
but you've got to get it out of your head so you can see it. So if I was on a workshop the other day and they were talking about brain dumping if you're creating a course, they were saying, put post-it notes under each week, what module you're doing. I'm like, that's great. The other thing is sometimes people don't have post-its. You don't have a whiteboard. So brain dump it on paper, put
Yeah.
it all out,
Just
type
right.
it out,
Mhm.
write it, whatever it is. Write on your mirrors and windows if you want to, if you're in a place where you have none of those note-taking devices. And when I say write on your mirrors and windows, I'm talking about with a liquid chalk, or do you have liquid chalk over there? I don't know if we've ever talked about that.
Yeah, no,
It's,
I don't think we call it that, but I know what you mean when you say that. It's
yeah,
like, well, actually, you can use
a whiteboard pen. You
whiteboard to
can,
use the dry eraser
yeah,
pen
yeah.
pens. Yep.
I had actually a friend who used to brain dump a lot, and she did it on her splashback in her kitchen.
Oh,
Used to
that's a
write.
good idea.
Yeah, like, so then she'd always remember when she's standing there, go, oh, that's right, I got to do this. And and hers, I mean, I would always go straight when I come into a house, I go straight to a kitchen and read what's going on in her world. That would be thank you, Yvonne. But just get it all out of your head, because you've got to get it all out of your head before you can actually put them into some sort of order.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if it's in your head, no, it's
Well, if
just
it's
this
in your head, then if you think, I like to think of it as think about you're looking through the lens of your own perception. And if it's all muddied up by all the thoughts in your head, you might not actually get to see what's the next step. What is the best way right now? And
can't see it.
yeah. So to me,
Well, it's
I like to
like
think
glasses.
this brain dump is I'm clearing the windscreen so I can
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
right?
definitely. Because then you can see. But if you've got so much, you can't. Like if you, yeah, and I think about the Christmas tree lights. I don't know how many times I've done it. Even just now, this is going back, not now, because I'm a little bit wiser. Is you untangle all those Christmas tree lights, you put them all on the Christmas tree, you decorate, and then you go to turn them on, and you realize they're
Oops,
not working,
oops.
and you've invested all that time. I've done that a couple of years in a row. Forgot about that experience. But so unpack it. To unpack it, like, don't just jump straight to the end result.
But you
You know,
see, unpacking it then helps to my mind, it helps you get
clarity.
to the what can I do?
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
is my best next step?
But if you've got that milling around in your head, you're not going to see clearly. You're
No.
not going to hear clearly. You're not going to see the light switch that's going to go, oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you will in time, but you're going to go down the hard track. And we're giving you a shortcut, peeps. Okay. That's it. But yeah, free up you, brain dump that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm gonna keep coming back to that. Clear the windscreen so you can see clearly.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. But I keep coming back to this idea of cultivating a problem-solving mindset it's a component of showing up for yourself, to yourself, like your own best friend.
Yeah.
And this is such an important part, I think, in the work that I do with my clients, is that unfortunately we weren't taught to be our own best friend.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
We
Oh,
weren't
no.
taught to think loving thoughts to ourselves and to be actually that's a whole another podcast episode, I'm sure, is cultivating self-loving kindness. But the thing is that is such an important part to this problem-solving mindset, is that I, as a loving, being filled with self-love and self-loving kindness, and I've had to work at this one because I know how we're brought up to keep other people happy, to serve another request before you even think about what's right for you. I think that I was in my 30s before I actually figured out what kind of things were the best way of looking after me, taking care of all my physical, emotional, mental, spiritual attributes. I was literally, I'm later than 30s, but that was because I was accustomed and had been inspired or nurtured into thinking I had to look after everybody else before me.
Yeah.
But in order to have a problem-solving mindset, you must lovingly care for all aspects of yourself first. It's not I'll get there when I have time, or I'll look after it when the kids are grown up and left home, or any of that. You can't do it. It's got to be you putting your
Now,
own
right here,
self-care.
right now.
Yep. Yep. It's not a negotiation. It's not
Yep.
I'll get there someday. And you see, the more you do that, that's you filling your cup, and you will see the solutions. They'll just present themselves with
Yep.
greater ease. So sometimes if you get into a situation where you're seeing problems and not getting the solutions, maybe it's a little bit of your own sacred aspect of you tapping you on the shoulder to say, hey, you need to get some more self-care in here. Yeah, wake up.
Wake up.
Check this out. Check this out. You need more you time. You need more loving kindness to you, or gratitude for who and what you are. Right?
It's funny because people talk badly about themselves. I'm gonna label it badly or something, and you're like, would you talk to a friend like that?
Yeah, totally.
No,
And in
oh,
no
no,
way.
that would upset them, and that would be a horrible, and then they get stuck with that, and I'm like, but it's all right to talk to yourself. But yeah. But I love that. I love that you started that about being your best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got my little goosies. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That actually made me start to think, on the word fail. And I don't believe anything's a failure.
No.
I'm a firm believer that it's not a failure. And there's lots of analogies of what fail stands for.
First attempt in learning.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. And then the second attempt, and then the third attempt. We'll just go back to the start and we'll keep doing the same thing. But I think if you can reframe that that failure as it being an experience, and when you can, I can't do this because I've failed at this one last time, or my friends failed at this, and that whole talk. So just look at the gratitude, the appreciation, the beautiful gift that you get to unwrap in that quotation fail, whatever it is, whatever you want to label it, that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the blessings of that situation, because when you can do that, that alone shifts if you can find the blessings in a situation, you're a 10, and when we talked about our PEMS at the start, you're a 10. If you can find the blessings, the gift, the appreciation, the gratitude in that situation, your heart is going to feel different.
truly.
Your shoulders are going to feel different. Your breathing is going to feel different. You're going to get more present, and you're going to be more, I'm going to say, alive, inspired, actually alive from within, when you can flip that situation around. And it is just an experience. It's not a failure. It's just an experience. What'd you say? First attempt in learning.
First attempt in learning. Yeah.
I can never remember what fail stood for in people's. And I'm like, yeah, well, sometimes I had to do it 3 times. 2 Christmases in a row to realize that the Christmas tree lights didn't work, because you know what I did? I put them back in the bag that I
Oh,
put them back. Didn't throw them out.
darn, next time.
I know, for next year. Yeah, I didn't, and then bought more. Yeah, I remember that, and twice. Did it 2 years in a row. I remember laughing, going, make sure I don't use the ones from last year.
So,
Duh.
so you know this the thing, and I do think it's an important piece to think of that as failure as a first attempt in learning, and you can still call it first attempt even if it's your second or third or fourth or umpteenth, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is that when you can do that, you're bringing some loving kindness right into that. How would
Mm.
it be if you actually acknowledged and recognized you never got it wrong? You
Yeah.
never got it wrong.
It's the beauty. Unwrapping that gift is
I
just a divine place to be. And I'm going to say again, reach out to Moira and I. We
definitely.
can unwrap that for you. And it's a beautiful journey to be on.
It is.
But you may not see that at that time.
So here's the thing, because I can hear different conversations that I've had with clients in the past around this, that when I say this, you never got it wrong. You haven't ever got it wrong. You're not broken either, by the way.
Yeah.
But the thing is that sometimes we will do something in a certain way and we find out we don't prefer it to go that way. So how about seeing something
I
instead
know
of a
those.
failure, I got it wrong, is, huh, I I don't prefer it to be that way.
I had an expectation it was going to go one way, and it didn't.
And it didn't.
So, yeah.
That's
So,
fine.
so,
So,
so that's it.
so
But
now I
yeah.
can appreciate the learning that I just got from that. So thanks very much. I just got clearer on what my preference really is. Right?
And it is that expectation. I expected it to go another way, and the universe goes, I didn't think so. Plans for you. That's that. Why didn't I get the job? Why did this happen to me and not someone else? Yeah.
Well, that actually, that whole expectation thing reminds me, and I've shared this with you before on conversations, is that saying that says, we make plans and God laughs, or we make plans and the universe laughs, or source energy laughs. The thing is that
every day with me.
but we can get so caught up, like you just said, about, well, I expected it to go this way. Yes, but you are expecting it to go this way through your own, perhaps limited way of thinking or constricted sense of what was possible. No right
Yeah.
or wrong here. It's just, okay, can I be more open?
Yeah, expectations are okay. You want to have an expectation on things, but just also be knowing that, life changes,
Go
pivot.
with,
You
yeah,
know,
pivot or flow.
I think at the end of every podcast, I literally say, well, I didn't expect it to go that way.
Yeah.
Because I have an expectation of how it's supposed to go. and there's nothing wrong with the way it goes. But I think I probably say that nearly everyone I go,
You
well,
do, and that's a funny conversation, because then it's like, well, so where was the expectation? What was the
yeah,
expectation?
what was I? What was I? Was I supposed to do a pom pom? Here's another tip. Grab this one. Yeah. I think it's just because, I hear the subject and I go, oh, wonder what we're going to talk about here. And the
Right.
moment one of us starts, the others, because when I hear this topic, we put the topic out and we just go.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So when I heard this topic, I'm like, oh, wonder what I'm going to talk about here and this. I don't have an answer until we start. The moment she hits record, my answers flow in. I have that trust that, oh, I don't need to prepare for this. I don't need to think. Like, I have that trust, that certainty. So when Moira hits record, it all just comes into a download for me.
Absolutely. But that's the beauty of this, is that we are actually just staying present and riffing on these ideas and then playing off one another. And that I love the way that flows.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that I know we're running out of time. I know I can hear it, I can see it. But even that, cultivating a problem-solving mindset, when it flows, it flows.
That's right.
But when it becomes stagnant and frozen, or immobilizes you or freezes you, or it feels really hard, like pushing that wet noodle, then just stop and reflect, pause. When it's flowing, you don't even think about time and space. You're present, just time flies by. I mean, yesterday I was in the office literally for 12 hours, and I stopped for 2 pee breaks and 1 little meal break at the start of the day. And it wasn't until at the end of the day I went, oh, and I came out of the office and looked at the time and went, oh my God, I was in there 12 hours. I was literally in my office. And I don't do 12-hour days, but it flowed. I would not have thought I did a 12-hour day until I came out of my office. And I'm not saying to people do 12-hour days. I just want to say that. And it's not my jam to do a 12-hour day. But when it flows, it flowed. And when it's not, it's not.
And you do that's the key piece, is you got to stay present to the flow. Because and I know we're going to wrap up. I'm going to start wrapping up. But Deb was just sharing of how we structure these podcasts, that we have a title and then we just trust and start riffing on the idea. There was an example fairly recently where we had a title that, truth be told, neither of us really resonated with. And I can't even remember what this title was, but I remember feeling like, it doesn't feel quite right. And it turns out that Deb was having that feeling too.
But
Well,
I was icky inside. It was really interesting. I was
so
like,
we
oh.
actually did start recording it. And it was funny because I was losing my words and it kind of was going all, and then the internet died. 3 times it died, just cut us off. And on the third time,
We
it was
were
like,
like
we're not
12,
doing this.
13 minutes. We were 12 or 13 minutes in.
Yeah, we
Once
were.
nearly 15 minutes in, and it cut us off, and we were like, oh my God, and we got to reboot. And yeah.
Nope. And there was no flow. We had an expectation of, oh, this is how this is going to go. But when we both unpacked the fact that I don't really feel good about this. So dear listeners, I don't even know what the title was, because it really was not meant to be.
I remember when we did it, I think I was one of the ones I did. I got inspired and did a whole lot of titles, and Moira said, yeah, they're great, but I've just reframed them all. Okay, thanks. And this was one that but we said, oh, this is going to be a fun one, because this is something that's new to us.
Yeah, because I couldn't think of how to reframe it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was literally like that. But we gave it a go.
We did.
Now I don't believe we failed.
No.
I believe we gave it a go. We've got a great story from it, and we actually can't even remember what it was. But we were both physically like, ugh.
Yeah, this is a no. This is a
this is a pushing a wet noodle, Deb and Moira.
Yep.
Just pause, and we were like, no, we're going to do this. And then and the internet just crashed, and probably we've been doing this. We must be nearly 3 years for this. Or
I would
are we
say
long?
so, if not more, even more, I think. Yeah.
But so let's say 4 years. If we've never had that.
Nope.
Our internet's probably crashed half a dozen times over
the span of time. Yep.
And so this just crashed and then crashed and crashed.
Yeah. It was like, you aren't coming back from this.
Not doing this. And my internet miraculously an hour later was perfect. Or not an hour later. It was funny. It was funny, but it was definitely
our guidance. That was our guidance.
It was our wake up. Be aware.
It was the problem solving was that didn't get recorded. So, dear listeners, we are going to wrap this one up. This has been an awesome conversation. Cultivate a problem solving mindset, which is really such a juicy, energy giving aspect. So, if you
say before we wrap up, cultivate a problem-solving mindset. I didn't understand what the word cultivate was.
Yes.
I'm just like, so cultivate, if you don't know what cultivate is, it means start, nurture, grow.
It's a process of seeding something and setting intentions and doing it and feeding
Yeah.
it
So it's not a one
looking
and done.
after it. Yes, it's not a one and done.
And
So
so
that's
I just want to emphasize that the tips we've given here, they're not just one and done. This is if you've got to cultivate a problem-solving mindset, keep working on it. Keep working on yourself. Keep working on what's around you. Keep working on your emotional charges. Keep working on your evolution. And I know that's not a tip, but there's your first tip we're starting with that didn't come out earlier.
okay, there you go. Good way to start that off.
Yeah. Now I'll be quiet. Yeah.
So the next one was that this is a tip that I had said is that one of the best ways to cultivate that problem-solving mindset is to always know, trust, and have the awareness that for every problem that exists, the solution already exists. It's always there. So it's to get into that, like I said, just because you can't see it in front of you doesn't mean it's not there, or it's not possible, or it's not going to come in for you. So it's about really walking with that awareness, knowing, and trust. Right?
Yeah. The one, yes. Yes.
Yes.
The one I had written down here was watch the negative self-talk.
Yes.
Now, you can change it or not, but just be aware of it. Again, that awareness.
The awareness,
Is just going, oh, here I am going down that negative Nancy. Apologies to all Nancys out there. It's just a staying. I'm on that. We'll do Debbie Downer because my name's Deborah. So I'm on the Debbie Downer talk. Here we are. So just be aware of it and choose to change it or not. But if you don't change it, that's your experience. That's your choice. That's okay. And if you want to change it or have a desire to change it, that's your choice. That's your experience. That's okay as well. So just be aware of that negative self-talk.
Definitely. And then I went and gave a sub tip from that one was to use, if you start asking why is this happening? Why do I always have this problem or this? I encourage you to use that as a wee self assessment, self-help tip, is to when you're doing that, understand that when we do that, we're always going to be taken down negative spirals and it'll re-engage with some of that negative self-talk. So see if you can reframe why questions like that into what can I do? What's the gift here? What's the best choice here? Things of that nature, right? Reframe why questions.
Yeah. I love this, and that's so simple. What's the gift here?
Yeah,
what can I do? What do I get to do from here?
Yeah,
Woohoo!
yeah.
Celebrate.
Celebrate it.
Celebrate that you've got a problem and you're dealing with it. You get the opportunity to deal with it. Some people don't get problems. I don't know if there's everyone gets a problem, so that's just a crockish anyway. Deborah, stop. The next one I've got is, that was me going on a tangent, people. That was
Yes.
the next one I've got is tribe, community, people equals Debz and Moira.
That's right. We're part of your tribe, community, people.
So be aware of your tribe, your community, people. Share your stuff with them. They're there to assist in your evolution. And I'm going to say Debz and Moira again because we do it with no emotion. It sounds wrong. No emotion. We're not attached to. Yeah, that sounds. We do it with no emotion. We do it
because that's not true for me. I do it with emotion. I do it with loving kindness.
Well, that's what I was like. That didn't sound right. What I'm trying to say is we are there for you, but we can take the emotion out of what you're dealing with, and we can see that strategy, the answer to what's going on.
Yeah, it's because we are holding neutral space to be able to have a look over your shoulder and say, hey, how about thinking about this, or how about trying this one, that type of thing.
How many times do you say to someone, oh, I've got this problem, blah, 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 and someone goes, well, why don't you just shut the door on them next time? I didn't know I could do that. Like this, well, I had that internet problem one time, and the guy says, have you rebooted? Of course I've rebooted.
Yes, but for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was funny.
reboot for. I was like, what? Who says that? You just literally turn it off and then turn it back on, don't you? But yeah, that was it. And he just made it so simple.
Mhm.
After you spend 40 minutes on hold and you get there and they go, have you turned it off and on? You're like, of course I haven't. Or even that. Yeah, perfect. So we are here for you,
Mhm.
as other people are, but we also just do it a little bit differently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautiful. The next one I have here is to release the propensity to work things out in your left brain, logical, rational thinking part. And I realized after I had shared that one, this is actually an aspect of balancing the masculine and feminine within you, the left brain and right brain, the doer and the beer. So the doer is the masculine, that's the left brain, that's the rational, logical, get things done, push forward, solve that problem, think it through. Whereas the being, the feminine, the right brain aspect, that is all the feminine. And that's the just gonna sit and trust and flow and allow things to transpire in the best way. Such a beautiful, and so the thing is regardless if we're presenting as a man or a woman, we all have this masculine and feminine. It is really, really important to cultivate a sense of balance with both sides of each one of us, right? So that's
Sounds so simple, and it is.
it is.
Simple.
Gotta
You don't have
remember
to.
to do it, that's all.
Yeah, that's it. Take action. And the final tip is take action. The one I've got written down here is you don't have to solve everyone's problems.
Yeah, I like that one.
And I think that's also as a parent, also as a grandparent, like you don't have to solve it. We go, oh no, I must fix that for my daughter or my son, or no, you don't. Let's see if they can do it. Let's not take away their dignity and their accountability to what's going on in their world. Let's give them a leg up. So you don't have to be the solver for everyone.
Well, no, because you have to attend to your stuff first anyway. And so that actually the next one I had after that was that, it's about owning the things that you are called upon to be the problem solver. But if you've got like a whole bunch of things running through your head of like, oh, it can't be this and it can't be that, and I don't know if this and blah, 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 as the mind chatter does, I encourage you to just pause, put your hand on your heart and say, if you knew the answer, what would it be? And go with the very first thing that came up, because that's oftentimes the best way to tune into the guidance of your heart, which is the seat of your own wisdom. So coming into that, you do know the answers. It's just that sometimes we have to remember to be the recipient of it, right?
Yeah. The one I had is trust.
Yeah.
And I know Moira said you're in a loving universe. I think that's a beautiful way of putting it, because we do forget, there is so much going on out there in the world. Like
Yeah.
there is so much. And we're like, well, how can this be a loving universe? This is what's happening out there and people are dying and, all this. But you are in a loving universe. I've got this. And this is one of the favorite things Moira's, given that gift to me of hand on heart. And I've got this.
Yeah.
That beautiful. But trust you're in a loving universe, and we're all cultivators.
Yeah, I love that. And even and I think you said it when I brought that up earlier, is that when you do that, that put your hand on your heart and say out loud or in your head, I've got this, you're actually reprogramming your own energy. You'll start to see things in a different way. That solution that you were looking for might just suddenly walk through the door or land in your lap, right?
Yeah.
The next one I have here is that and this whole idea of we are in a loving universe is we're co-creating. I've often said we are powerful creator beings. We are, but we're not doing it alone. So it's about being mindful who we share what we're doing with, but being mindful of I'm not having to take care of everything. I can surrender to this loving presence that's I'm enveloped by take care of what it's supposed to take care of, right? So I just get to be responsible to do the action steps that I can do. Always coming back to, if I can't do this and can't do this, I'm going to arrive at, okay, so I can do this though.
What can I do? Yeah.
Mhm.
These are damn good tips.
These are really good tips. I like these too.
I'm loving them, just saying. The one I've got here is free up you. And my favorite word's brain dump. Brain dump, brain dump.
Yep.
And Moira actually said clear the windscreen. And I
Yeah,
love it. It
I
just
do
makes
too.
so much sense. It just, so brain dump all your stuff,
Yeah.
all of it.
Yep.
Because if you listen to this podcast and you're like, oh, they gave some great tips. What was that tip? If you didn't write it down, you're not going to remember.
That's
Well,
right.
you might. You have to listen to the whole lot again or just the last 15 minutes. But brain dump it. Put it on a whiteboard. Put it on a piece of paper. Put it into your notes, voice message, whatever it is. Get it all out of your head, because when you get that clutter, and I'm saying it's clutter because it's not in an ordered way,
Mhm.
that clutter out of your head, you can actually start to work
Okay.
through it.
And get some clarity. You get
Love.
to actually see what it is what you can do. What's the best thing next.
Yeah, what can I do? Yeah, perfect.
This next one that I have was when I said to be your own best friend. That so you've got to really cultivate your own self-love, your self-care, and have gratitude for who and what you are. The things that you do get, what do you get to do? And that is one of the best ways to get into and to really look after that problem-solving mindset in the best way for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's not as crazy as what we think. The one I had came up was the word fail.
Mhm.
And my thing was just saying it's an experience, it's not a failure. And if you can find gratitude, the gift, the appreciation, the love in that situation, then life changes for you, because it's just a reframe and you have a different inspired energy.
Mhm.
If you're in a 10 state, we talked about our PEMS at the start, you're in a 10 state, find the blessings in the situation you're in. Even just that, find the gifts. And that will, I guarantee that will shift your 10 closer to the 0. It's not as hard as what we think. But be aware of that word fail. Oh, I failed again. Here I am again. And look at your expectations, says Deborah.
Well, that was my last tip, but I do want to remind our listeners that I like to think of fail, FAIL, as first attempt in learning, which then gets you back into this mindset of you never did anything wrong. You find out ways that you didn't like it to be done. This doesn't mean it's a failure. It's just, oh, okay, now I know that, and now I can do it in a different way. So I'm going to reset my energy.
Well, the last one I had was the flow.
Yeah. To release expectations. Well, you can have it, and you said that you can have expectations, but flow with what is. And that's when we shared our example of our episode, that we had expectations of recording an episode that day, but we had to flow with the universe and the internet saying, "Nuh-uh, nope, tell the truth. Tell the truth. Neither of you really like this topic, so we're not doing it."
Yeah, that was funny. It was good, but funny. Yeah, that was it. Wow. What
Wow.
tips?
Beautiful, beautiful tips. So, dear listeners, we trust that you have shifted this mindset, shifted into an awareness of the cultivating. And I'm glad you brought in the definition of cultivating, because it's a process. It's an ongoing journey. It's not a once and done. It's not okay, give me these tips and now I don't have to learn or cultivate or flow and find out. It's about finding out more aspects about you too, because a problem solving mindset is going to evolve and shift and change as you do and your surroundings do. So, listeners, we'd love to hear how these tips landed. And we also would love to suggest that I'm going to give you two items to follow up with. First one being is I encourage you to take 2 to 3 of these tips and integrate them into your own way of being and let us know. How does it help you? How does it work for you? Don't overload yourself with taking all of the tips, because then the expectation might be that you just overwhelm yourself. We don't want that. So take 2 to 3 of these, the ones that really resonate with you, that really jive with you, implement them, and then let us know, how is it helping you with your problem solving mindset? So that was the first little what you got to do next. And the other one is share this episode with anyone that you feel could benefit from having a wee shift or a wee bit of inspiration in their mindset. So that's kind of what we would encourage you to do, because the more we do our own work and we share, the more we actually create a ripple. And I love this idea of rippling out, cultivating a problem-solving mindset. So all
It's
that
actually
being said,
a beautiful place to be.
yes,
A beautiful
most
place to be
definitely,
when you choose to see it that way.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yep, 100%. So before we wrap this up and send you off on your way, continuing to cultivate this problem-solving mindset, we're going to just check in. And we trust that you checked in at the halfway point to see what your PEMS rating was. The PEMS being physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being. I was at a 1 and Deb was at a 2. Where were you now, my dear? And I
0,
knew she's at
0,
a 0.
0. I think it's a beautiful one.
We're both at a 0. I really, really like this one. This one was one of those ones that we've talked about before, that it actually felt like a love blanket. A lot of these tips are just felt so nurturing and soothing and yeah, come from my heart. So
Yeah.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you, dear listeners. Thank you, dear Deb. This has been an
Thank
awesome, awesome conversation. We are now wrapping up another one of our deliciously motivated mindset podcast conversations. Thank you, Internet. Thank you, dear Deb. Thank you, listeners.
Thanks for taking the time today, people, and Moira, and
Definitely.
Internet.
And Internet.
And you'll get to listen to us again on our next episode.
Week. Definitely. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. See you next time.
Bye.